Good evening and welcome to West Talk. Today is Tuesday, March 28th, and we've got an awesome show for you today. But of course, first, just in our West Talk tradition, we're going to introduce you a great book by a Newfoundland author. And today it's The Life of a Pilot, Bush Planes and Water Bombers by Glenn Gooby. These are the adventures of retired pilot Glenn Gooby, who flew countless missions in Newfoundland and Labrador and across Canada and the United States. For more than 40 years, he flew with compassion and courage, sometimes performing mercy missions in the face of danger. A number of years later, Glenn found himself behind the controls of an airplane. He completed his flying training in Moncton, New Brunswick, and his early flying career took him to Northern Ontario for a couple of years. Upon returning to Newfoundland, Glenn flew with Newfoundland Air Transport, Gander Aviation, and the provincial government's water bombers until he retired. And just a really interesting book about all the unique perspectives and experiences had by this man as he flew his way around our province for many years. So, published by Flanker Press, and you can check this out at wherever you get your fine books here in Newfoundland. And now we're going to jump right in with our first guest in studio. And we're talking about somewhere. What makes a place somewhere? When does a point on a map become a place? And what makes a place have meaning? And so Grenfell and community partners are now launching Somewhere, a creative program about place. Community are invited to sign up for an incubator discussion series at the new Centre for Innovation on April 3rd and 4th. And so to tell us a little bit more about this initiative, what it is, and how you can all get involved, we have in studio Mr. David Smallwood and Jenny Brake. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. So Somewhere, how have you folks come to be collaborated now on this project?
You want to answer that?
Sure.
Okay.
So I was approached by Dr. Peter Ride, our new Dean of Fine Arts here at Grenfell University, about becoming a part of this project in my capacity as an artist. So I'm a welder by trade, and I did fine arts with textiles as well. But you know, Peter reached out and thought that it would be really cool to share my welding skills, and I also agreed that it would be a great opportunity to do that. So yeah, we talked about what we would do and the workshopping opportunities to gather folks and share knowledge and the topic of Somewhere. And for me, it's a really unique opportunity. I mean, I started out my trade over 20 years ago and really wanted to work at the mill. And even the placement of the Center for Research and Innovation is that old Bowater building where my friends and I built the first skate park out in the back, you know, as teenagers. So Somewhere in that place and the significance of my journey as a tradesperson and even a young adult is all very significant. So it felt like a really good fit for me to have that creative outlet and to share with folks in the community.
Yeah. And Dave, so is it the Rotary Arts Center that's involved in this initiative, or yourself?
Yeah, no, it's the Rotary Arts Center and the Newfoundland and Labrador Aboriginal
Indigenous Tourism Association. And LEDA, yes.
And Grenfell. And I think this is Peter, since his arrival here, has been very keen to bring Grenfell off the hill and downtown. And he sees the old Bowater training building, which has now been modernized and beautified, as an opportunity for Grenfell to be downtown. The Rotary Arts Center is one of two partners, along with Grenfell. Our input is, I think, to provide a focus for the visual art side of the program. We've got so many great plans for next Monday night in terms of bringing artists and academics and the average Joe off the street.
Yeah. Well,
together.
It says here, you know, where Indigenous artists, environmentalists, dramatists, scholars, and community members will come together.
Yes.
So, I mean, this sounds like a really interesting opportunity. I mean, what only good things can come from this?
Well, we would think so.
We hope so.
Yeah.
You know, this idea of Somewhere is really attractive because we all have somewhere in the Bay of Islands region that is special to us. But it's special to us, but not necessarily special to Jen. So what our idea is that we will share these places with and among each other, and they will develop into some, ultimately, we hope, into some form of concrete piece of visual art.
Yes.
and the art ultimately will become public art.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, if all of this comes to happen, Corner Brook is going to be a gorgeous looking place this summer, because a lot of this
That's
will
what we
be
want.
maybe temporary, but it'll be permanently temporary.
Yes.
And some of it will stay as permanent permanent art. So it's great, exciting.
And so do you think that this is the type of thing that people should expect to see going forward from this new center? Like, is this the type, because I think I haven't at least been aware of a whole lot of, I guess, initiatives that have taken place yet. It's very new and early in its development. But is this what people should expect in terms of the amount of art and art-related projects that might come from this facility?
I certainly hope so. As someone who feels very strongly and passionately about increasing Indigenous visibility within our community, I love that 4 Indigenous artists have been asked to do this work. Because, you know, for years you would drive through this town and not realize that it was an Indigenous community, and now, you know, we're making a presence here and increasing it. So I think the CRI is just that beautiful place that I always imagined having to go and create and be innovative and learn and share. So I think you'll see a lot more of that.
And so you've already spent time in here.
Yeah, I have. I've actually been, I was down last week, and we're helping set up the welding shop. So given my experience, I was able to offer my expertise in that.
So what can you tell people about the space? For a lot of folks obviously haven't been in there yet, and so how can you describe you know, what people see when they go in there and what types of things people can actually do?
I view it as my own personal playground.
Yeah, that's the way it sounds to me. That's why I'm getting into it. It sounds super
wonderful.
fun.
It's absolutely wonderful. You know, for folks that are interested in developing ideas or just being creative and sharing, you know, I think there'll be lots of opportunities for workshopping and conversation and creativity. It's a great place to look into all those things.
Yeah.
And the building itself has got a very interesting history, which we're developing.
That's right.
Things have happened in that building that would amaze people.
Yeah.
One of the stories that I'm going to tell, I'm not going to tell here.
Oh, come on.
No, I can't. I'll give it away. But a major cultural facility in Newfoundland was created in that building. Now, I'll leave that to everybody's imagination as to what it'd be.
Very interesting.
But
it has to be one of the oldest buildings in Corner Brook, I'd imagine, right?
Well, it's actually not as old as the mill. It was built in the
after
early
the mill.
60s, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Originally
Not
as
that
a
old.
training facility for Bowater. They built it. Latterly, it became the home of the Public Relations Department. I actually,
That's right.
as Public Relations Manager of Bowater, worked there for 4 years. It all had the purchasing department and the training division on the other side. So most training that went on in that building. But other thing is that Rocky Schulstead, who many people will know of, his Bolog, the weekly or bi-weekly newspaper that Bowater created for its employees and for the community, was published in that building as well over a long period of time.
That's neat. I didn't know about your background with the mill, so this is a really interesting
I have
full
all kinds
circle
of
kind of
skeletons
thing.
in my closet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No, but it must be so special for you to be involved in seeing this building be revitalized in such a way that's also near and dear to your heart now.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's the most. I've had a couple of tours of the facility. I'm not an artist, believe me. So I look, but I can't do.
You appreciate.
I do appreciate it. And that building is a highlight of this city,
It is.
Yeah.
of Grenfell, of the College of the North Atlantic, of Kruger, and of all the partners that are associated with it. It's going to be a major facility for this city and for the arts communities within the city.
Sounds very
Absolutely.
cool. I wonder if they might ever have like walk-up opportunities or sort of open house sort of situations. Do you
Well,
know?
Grenfell used to have a makerspace night that was open to public, and I
Yeah.
anticipate that you'll see that sort of thing happening down there once they get up and running.
Very cool.
I hope so.
I think that's part of their mandate, actually,
Good.
to make it as public as they can.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of expensive equipment down there, so
Yep.
to use the equipment, you obviously need somebody to supervise
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't can't.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking CNC lathes, 3D
Yes.
printers, that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. I was like a kid in a candy store, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Some really great equipment, welding, carpentry,
There's loom,
a
there's
loom, an
a
electric loom.
yeah.
It's
Virtual loom.
Yeah,
almost. I'm
sewing
not quite sure how it
machines, all
works,
kinds
but
of things.
Sounds exciting.
Virtual loom.
A virtual loom.
My goodness.
so there's lots there to learn and explore
Wow.
with. Yeah.
That sounds so cool. And in our last couple of moments of our interview, I think it's interesting to talk about the sort of topic of somewhere. And we had a writers' conference at Marvel in the fall, and there was this great keynote speech from someone about finding place somewhere, especially for
I was
people
there.
who, you're there. You know, for people who move around or are just removed from their birthplace or like their birth culture, and then trying to find a home somewhere. And so I do think that's an interesting topic. And I think here in Western Newfoundland in particular, there's a few directions that conversation goes, both people who are, looking to be proud of their home now, in light of things that they're all learning, or in light of some struggles they might have had here. But of course, Western Newfoundland has a lot to provide to young people, and
Yeah, and it's interesting because the intersection of the river, the Bay of Islands,
yeah,
the land and the trees and the rocks, and the inhabitants have created a most remarkable scenario for somewhere, because everybody has some connection somewhere, even if it's a pet rock.
yeah,
That's part of the Bay of Islands, that's special to
Absolutely.
them.
yeah,
And I know Jen and her family have deep connections
yeah.
with this place. And there's somewheres, there are probably numerous. Mine are less so, because I've only
absolutely.
been here X number of years. But
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
yeah,
all got
it's
it
a
somewhere.
wonderful opportunity. And
do.
I think what we have to make sure is that this is open. This whole idea is not just for us.
Oh, no.
We can take, I'm not quite sure the number, the number that we can take. I mean,
I'm not sure.
it's significant and lots of
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Right.
So anybody who wants to just come and experience this whole
And
event.
there'll be events ongoing. We'll have the workshops that'll be happening throughout
Yeah.
the month of April, and we really want to encourage folks to come out to those, because we want to carry out the conversation
Yeah.
throughout the month and beyond, because there's so much that we can all contribute.
So I guess the best thing for people to do then is just sort of keep their eyes peeled, stay tuned to the social media
Yes.
for the RAC and for the center.
Yep.
And of course, for the upcoming event, they can get their tickets or register on Eventbrite.
Yes,
Do
that's
that right
right.
away now.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Do it now while
Absolutely.
And
space
in effect, I
lasts.
think it's free of charge, isn't it?
Yes, it
Yes.
Well, what
I think
more
you
do
have
you
to
want?
pay and then you get it back or something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. If you haven't been down there, an exclusive opportunity to go check out this new innovation center.
Totally.
Super cool, super fun. Folks, we just got the light from Gian, so a last word on this or anything else?
No, I mean, I'm really happy that the Newfoundland Indigenous Tourism Association is on board. They're a new organization here, so they're jumping on right away and getting involved in Indigenous tourism in the area. And just coming from my own perspective as an artist, I'm just thrilled to have this, be happening in our community. Really excited to work with the other artists that are listed.
Yeah.
Really
awesome.
exciting.
And I can repeat that for the RAC's perspective, the Rotary Arts Center's perspective.
Yeah.
It's- Our relationship with Grenfell has been growing and growing and growing, particularly since Peter came to town.
Yes.
And his absolute passion to bring Grenfell down and down to Grenfell.
Yep.
And this is the start of I think, of a
Absolutely.
trend.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, like I said earlier, only great things can happen when you bring together this type of influence and capacity. And I'm really excited to see what continues to happen here. And I look forward to getting down there myself to check out the space.
Come on down
You
to my
need to
workshop on the
register.
29th, and I'll teach you how to weld.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn how to weld on the 29th, and you can come down too. Guys, thank you so much.
Bring Gian, let him do the camera.
Bring
Come
G.
down and film it.
We're going welding, buddy. Bring your car.
Sounds good.
David, Jenny, thank you so
Our
much
pleasure.
for coming
Thank
down
you
today.
very
Alan,
much,
thank you.
Dustin and Gian, for the
Yes,
opportunity.
thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk with two Rogers staff who just won a very big award. Can't wait to tell you about it. Stay tuned.
So why volunteer at Rogers TV? Well, it's fun, exciting, and challenging. You can develop practical, hands-on skills in TV production, make new friends, and have fun, all while giving back to your community. For a few hours a week, you can be part of a great team making great local television. Want to find out more? Get in touch with us at rogerstv.com. Make your mark and find a new passion as a Rogers TV volunteer.
And we're back. And as I mentioned, we've got two local Rogers TV employees here who are getting a big recognition. That's right. They're getting the Ted Rogers Award, the CEO's Award, actually, for their humanitarian efforts, based on an initiative that they came up with and executed on their own. And so very happy to have here in studio someone you've all seen before, Mr. Kevin Young, retail sales and TV host, as well as Josh Keogh, a technician with Rogers TV. Boys, thanks for being here. And great job from the CEO himself. He told me to give you a round of applause. Tell me about your initiative. I didn't want to spoil it too much, besides that it was a response to what you saw happening with Hurricane. Which one was that again?
Oh, the one in that affected Port aux Basques. Yeah. What was the name of that one? I can't remember.
Fiona?
Fiona.
That's right.
There you go.
All right, we got
That's
him to
right.
talk.
Shrek's misses.
Yeah.
We've had a few.
Yes, Shrek's missus. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, a response to Hurricane Fiona, and you decided to do what?
Well, it all started when I was kind of covering everything with the radio station that I'm volunteering with as well, and we were covering a lot of stuff and learning as it was going what was happening, the impacts, and I kept thinking, we got to do something. I come back to work Monday morning, and Josh comes right up to me because I've done a lot of stuff in this regard, and Josh had this idea that he wanted to put through, but wasn't entirely sure exactly how to push it through. So he came up with an idea, Josh. I'll let you share it. It was your idea.
I guess so, yeah. No, just thinking of people in Port aux Basques. I mean, we work out there, we see them.
You do
we do set up
work
in
out
Port aux
there?
Basques, yeah. So, I felt from a team's point, we should do something personal.
Yeah.
Right? Rogers did do some other stuff as well, a lot of stuff actually, but I felt we should do something as the face of Rogers in Port aux Basques. So we came up with an idea, myself and a couple other colleagues, with Fill the Bucket truck, and it just snowballed from there. I got Kevin to get it on Bay of Islands Radio. I knew he was very involved in that, and Channel 9 with local Rogers, and it just snowballed from there.
So what's a bucket truck?
It's the boom truck.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
the big red tank that you see with the bucket and the ladder.
the thing
on
that
it.
puts you up on top of the house or on top of the pole, right?
Yeah, more or less. I use a ladder, maintenance uses a bucket truck.
Right. So the idea is to fill this truck
Yes.
with what?
Anything that they needed. We did do some research. We knew they didn't need clothing. They didn't need any food. So we went for incidentals. So toiletries, right? Personal hygiene items. The stuff that you'd forget about,
Right.
right? I mean, who thinks about taking their toothbrush when they got to leave their home?
Right. Stuff you take for granted because it's just there all the time.
Exactly. So we launched it here. We also got Central involved, Gander and Grand Falls. Big thank you to them out there.
Yeah.
And we done our best. Got a few boxes filled up. And
So how did you go about getting the stuff or getting the money for the stuff? Were you fundraising or were you seeking out community partners or how did that go?
no, basically we just put the ad out there. We were looking for anybody and everybody who was willing to donate.
Yeah.
Right.
So we did receive phone calls from people in the community, most of which were Rogers customers, seeing it on Rogers TV. But we did get some calls, some customers dropping by, but a large in part was probably our own staff. Our
Technicians.
staff really picked up the technicians big time.
Yeah, the stores in Central.
Yeah, so they had Gander and Grand Falls locations out there. They collected everything out there, drove out here in one of the technicians' vans to drop it off here, and when everything was ready to go, they took it on to Port aux Basques from here. But yeah, a good chunk of it was Rogers employees, which is what makes it even a little more special for me to know that I got such an amazing crew of people I work with every day. So
yeah, people, like-minded people who don't mind stepping up when it's time. And so did you actually end up using the bucket truck to go out there?
That was the plan, but it ended up that the bucket had to be somewhere else.
Right.
So I ended up rolling out in the van. I threw the boxes all in my van, packed it in, and dropped it off.
So you did go out yourself?
I did go out personally, yeah.
And so who receives, who is it that you give this to when you go out there?
I can't remember if it was Lions Club or Legion.
Right.
I really can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
But there was a great bunch of people there working, I must say. I mean, as fast as we got stuff at the van, they were
Getting it going.
more than willing to take it and put it in, and had a great conversation with the gentleman in charge,
Wow.
They were really grateful.
So how long have you been working with Rogers, by the way?
Directly, just over 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how does it feel now for you to get this recognition to go? Because this probably wasn't a thing you were thinking about when you decided to go do it.
Absolutely not. It feels good, It does feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's nice to be recognized, but like you said, now this was right out of left field.
Yeah.
I did not expect any of this.
Yeah.
And did not look forward to flying to Toronto again.
Yeah, what? You don't like to fly or what?
No, I've only flown once, and that was for this job in the beginning. I never thought I'd have to do it again.
Well, they're making you do it again. So, well, that sounds like a good segue. Kev, why don't you tell us about, what it means to you to win this award as well, but then also what's in it for you guys? So I understand you guys are getting a little prize here, a much-deserved trip.
We are, yeah. So, I want to say this as humbly as possible, but I mean, I do a lot for the community, and I never expect anything in return, ever. I do it because, this is a community that took care of me, and I want to do my best to take care of it. And, so things like this, when Josh came to me and we had this chat, it wasn't even a second glance. It was like, yeah, let's do it. It was actually his manager and his manager's manager that nominated all of us for this award.
Wow.
And included myself in that as well, and a couple of other retail people from out in Central, but mostly it was the technicians that were in that nomination field. But they're flying us out. We're leaving first thing in the morning, flying out to Toronto, and going to have some time out there. Unfortunately, the flight for the early morning crew, he's not an early morning guy, he's got the afternoon flight. But us early morning crew, we're 4.5 hour layover in Halifax, so that's not it's not the greatest of flights to Toronto, but nonetheless.
Welcome to Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And then we're staying at the Fairmont Royal.
Wow.
Downtown.
Putting you up in the posh spot there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the gala is going to be, because there's going to be a gala Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And part of that includes, the kind of meet and greet with all the award recipients. And then they're telling us that as the CEO award recipients, we are the, the real, up here for the award, because we're going to be meeting with the CEO personally. We're going to be the ones that are called up on stage for the award. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Well,
so
when I read through these categories of award, it seems like it goes up, and then it goes to hero, and then on top of hero, it's humanitarian.
Yeah.
And so it does seem like this is one of the top recognitions now that they have. Yeah. Do you have a sense of how many other people from employees across the country might get the humanitarians recognition?
You mean annually?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just one award a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that it's every year they have this gala for Rogers employees, this award ceremony. It's the Head Rogers Awards, and this is the first year since COVID they're actually having everything in person again. Yeah. Because of course we all know that we don't need to keep bringing that up. Nope. But and so we're doing it all together in person for the first time, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice. We got a few things planned. I know Josh is excited to go to the
Ripley Center,
Ripley's museum there.
Oh,
the
yeah,
aquarium
that's cool.
A few of us are going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. We got a tour lined up for Sportsnet, so we're going to get to go in and see the Sportsnet studio and see if we can bump into Tim Metcalf and
some of your hosting colleagues. You mean? At another station. That's all that is.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, we're peers. Yeah. They just get paid.
It's quite the studio, though. I've been.
It is. Yeah. I did the tour once, and I did it when Tim and Sid were together. Now Sid's doing the morning show, but we got to see all of that. It was kind of cool. So we're going to do that again. And what I'm excited for, because I'm in several committees in Rogers, and I have a lot of co-workers that I've become friends with that I've never met in person. Right. So I'm excited for the fact that I'm going to be there. I'm going to get to meet some of them, quite a lot of them, in person for the first time since working with Rogers. So that's
so cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And so let's go back to how excited you are to get on an airplane and go to Toronto. Do you have any strategies to make your experience a little smoother?
No. Just get on, hold on, and
just go for it.
If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't.
I think you'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Statistically, you should get there.
Statistically, yeah.
Well, that's awesome, guys. This is such a cool recognition. And, have, after the fact, have you heard from any people in Port aux Basques, or was there any reconnection with any of those folks out there, after the fact? Or
Well, we didn't boast about it. We didn't say anything about it. Yeah. So basically the people, they don't even know.
They don't know. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Now you know.
Now you know, yeah.
These are the guys who got those toothbrushes out there when you needed them the most.
It was just low key. Yeah. It's something that we're Newfoundlanders.
Yeah.
If somebody needs help, we help.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. No, that's really cool. And I guess you you know what you contributed. And have you been back down in the last little while? To
Oh,
Paul
yes.
at all? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been out several times just like working, but
Yeah.
you're driving through the areas where, it was pretty devastating.
And what have you noticed now? Have you seen things start to be rebuilt at all in any way, or are they still cleaning up?
They're not even tearing down. I haven't even seen any demolished
Wow.
yet. They're just marked, power's cut,
Yeah.
and they're left for now, I guess, until everything gets ironed out. Similar to when Stephenville flooded.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to take.
It
it's gonna
took
be
time,
years.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much.
Yeah, it
I
took
want to,
time.
just the technicians alone, having gone down there, I've seen some of the stuff that they've had to do, and some of the things they had to work with, some of the damage that was done to a lot of the equipment, the salt water that affected so much.
Interesting.
And we've got some awesome pictures that we've shared internally with Rogers of what the technicians had to do, and it gives me chills thinking about what these guys did to bring this community back together and give them that attachment to the rest of the world through
Yeah.
TV, through internet, through phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm floored and honored to be a part of this team.
Yeah, no, that's well said. And I didn't even think about that, of all the people who had important jobs to do when that disaster happened. I mean, it was the people who were keeping everyone connected that realistically were serving probably the most important role,
So even though we're Rogers, we do have to give a shout out for Bell Alliant for that too.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, everyone.
Same area we work together, right? So
Yeah.
Bell put a lot of stuff back too.
Wow.
But we
Yeah.
sent the bucket truck full of stuff.
Respect. Well, that is probably the first and last Bell shout out on Roger, so you can have that one for free. Guys, thanks so much. Please enjoy your time in Toronto, and I look forward to hearing all about your trip when you get back.
Awesome.
Dustin,
Cool.
thanks,
Thanks
bud.
for having us.
That's it. We're going to cut to a break, and we'll be back to wrap it up in 120 seconds. Stay tuned. And that's it for our episode. I want to thank, sorry, I fucking flipped the wrong sheet there. And that's it for our episode. I want to thank David Smallwood and Jenny Brake for coming down to tell us about the Somewhere sessions that they're having at the Innovation Center coming up early April. Get your tickets now on Eventbrite. And also to Kevin and Josh for coming in. And once again, we wish them a really fun and happy time receiving their Ted Rogers CEO Humanitarian Award in Toronto. Thanks for watching West Talk. We'll be back next Tuesday with another deadly episode. Thanks. Love you. Good night.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Now you can enjoy Disney Plus on Ignite TV. Just say Disney Plus into your Ignite TV voice remote and stream Disney Plus movies and series like Marvel Studios' Black Panther, Wakanda Forever,
For Wakanda!
Star Wars, The Bad Batch,
Real subtle.
and Strange World.
The world is so big.
Upgrade to Ignite TV today and get 6 months of Disney Plus on us. Visit Rogers.com/Disney to get started.
Did you have fun? Check this out.